Boston Silk Scarf fans, and welcome to our PGL Season 4 opener for the Boston Silk Scarfs. I am your coach, True Norseman. Today we're going up against Kelly, aka Under the Radar, and the Maryland Torterrapinns. This is unfortunately going to be a post-commentary. I've been having a lot of technical issues on my side of things. If you guys are following me on Twitter, you guys probably already know that already. I had a cat puke in my computer. I had a random rainstorm come in with my window open and get tons of water in my computer, and I've just been having issue after issue after issue, and I think there's something wrong with my sound card, but it could be my software. So I'm kind of recording this with a different software. When I originally did the battle, my audio was all desynced and my microphone sounded really bad, and I don't know what happened. So I'm trying this all over again in a post-com, and this is actually my second time doing a post-com because the other time I used the old software and it still happened. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Hopefully you guys don't mind the post-com. I'm trying to do this all in one shot, one go, so I don't have to edit it because this video is going up kind of late. The battles are supposed to get uploaded Friday, so I'm going to try and get it out today. Today is Friday, so that's why I'm kind of in a rush, and there won't be any editing. But anyways, our matchup against Under the Radar, aka Kelly, during the team prep, I was actually pretty worried. I thought he had at least one counter to every mon on my team, and he had a very strong team. For the longest time, I was thinking, what would my lead be? I was so nervous because I was like, I don't really have a solid lead. And then eventually I was like, oh my god, Kunkelder's right in front of my face. I should just lead Kunkelder. So that's what we end up doing in this battle. Before we start, I want to say, go check out Kelly. His link is in the description down below. He's an awesome dude and battler, as well as Puppasy11. Big shout out to him for helping me build my team this week because I'm still having some issues on that front. So anyways, guys, go check out these two awesome dudes, as well as all the PGL other stuff. And if you guys want a t-shirt or any other Boston Silk Scarfs merchandise, there is link in the description to all that stuff. It's not on Teespring, so we don't have to have 50 orders before anything happens. It's just you buy it and it gets sent to you, so it's really easy. So anyways, he leads off with his Jirachi Kid Cudi as we lead off with Dirty Dan, and I'm thinking this is a pretty good lead. So he goes for his U-turn, as I believe I go for a knockoff because knocking off a Jirachi would not be bad, and I figured he might want to switch into something else like his Rotom or maybe even his Gligar, which he ends up going into. So knockoff is huge because we get to knock off that Eviolite and get a good amount of chip damage off on this thing. So I know he's going to stealth his Stealth Rock, so I just stay in and go for an Ice Punch because I'm thinking if we take out his Stealth Rock setter, I have Defog on Mew, so we can get rid of the Stealth Rocks at some point, and we don't have to worry about Stealth Rocks ever again. So with an Ice Punch, we take down Gligar, and we're already looking at a good start, a 5 or 1-0, or I don't know how you would say that, but we already have a pretty good lead here as he switches in the Rotom. He brought a very good Volt Turn core this week. A lot of U-turn users, a lot of Volt switchers, which definitely puts a number on our team. As we go for the Drain Punch, I figured Drain Punch is probably going to do the most damage to most things, and plus we're going to get that health recovery. Hipster takes it pretty decently, plus that Leftovers recovery. He's taking those very nicely. So I'm kind of worried about the Scald here, but I decided to stay in, and he goes for Toxic. And that's sort of going to be an issue down the line. I do have Heal Bell as well in Mew. Running a defensive Mew, I'm not going to be running that every week. I know, tons of, the PGL analysts were saying, oh, I'm worried he's just going to run defensive Mew every week because he's one of his only defoggers. But we also have Scizor, and we have some other things, and I'm always looking into the free agency, so we might pick up a Rapid Spinner eventually. But anyways, I go for the Mach Punch, thinking it might be enough to take him out. Unfortunately, he lives it, so I should have just went for the Drain Punch there and just took up the damage. I didn't want to take an extra Scald, so I thought Mach Punch might kill, but I think we got a low roll. So unfortunately it didn't, and now I'm like, oh, this stinks. Now I kind of have to go for the Mach Punch this turn so we don't lose more Scald damage. And Poison now at this point is taking us down super low, below 50%. Which is not good. We do score a crit, which I wish we had gotten last turn, but unfortunately we did not. So now we are below 50%, which is not good for Kunkelder, because Kunkelder puts in tons of work against his team this week, and he knows it. So, anyways, you switch into Victini, and I'm like, there's not much I can bring on Victini. I can bring in Uncle Iroh, the Entei. He does like 35 to 40%, I think, with V-Create. But I keep forgetting about the Stealth Rocks that are on the field because, I guess that was technically the first time I forgot because I kept Conkeldurr in so long, but I had forgotten by that point. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for an E-Speed, get damage off on this thing, because if I can get this thing low enough, Conkeldurr might be able to take this thing down eventually. Or Scizor even, or something like that. So that's my plan, is I just want to weaken Victini as much as possible. Entei, I believe, is going to go down in a couple turns here, because Entei is pretty low already, and doesn't really do too much to his team. We go for another E-Speed. We are Choice Band, as we bring down his Rotom to half health, which is going to be clutch later on. Uncle Iroh does go down, unfortunately, but that's okay. Uncle Iroh, it was really only there for Jirachi, and we can kind of work around Jirachi, is what I was thinking at this point in time. I'm not going to spoil the outcome of this match, but so far we had a pretty decent, solid lead, I felt. So anyways, I bring in Mew thinking that hopefully I can get a Heal Bell to heal up Conkeldurr, followed by a Defog or something of the sort. That's the plan here at this point in time. Now, he does have a lot of U-turn users, as he's going to go into his Hydreigon, who is also going to have U-turn. But I just really wanted to get off the Heal Bell because I know Conkeldurr is going to be important for this match. If I can pass a Wish from Umbreon to Conkeldurr, we'll be looking good, especially if I can get a Curse or two up before the switch, before the Baton Pass, because if I can do that, that seals the game. Mach Punch, like, kills everything. Drain Punch, Ice Punch, like, everything's dead, you know what I mean? So that was the plan. We'll have to wait and see how that works out for us, but we're doing pretty good so far. He goes for the U-turn. Mew's eating up the U-turns, like, left and right, like, no big deal. As Kitty Cuddy comes back out, and I'm like, yeah, obviously he's just gonna go for another U-turn. I don't want to lose Mew yet, so I end up going for the Volt Switch, which I should have just went for Defog and let Mew go down, but I did not. I was kind of fearing that Hydreigon would have taken us out or something like that, so I would just went for the Volt Switch. Was a bad idea. I should have went for Defog no matter what, because those Stealth Rocks are really, really hurting our team right now. But I bring in Monty. Of course, you know, also going to take a lot of damage from U-turn, but again, like, Monty's so tanky that it's not even that much for being super effective. So Monty's looking pretty good. I believe I'm going to go for a Curse and then a Wish, because I figure if I Curse, I'm taking those U-turns even better, and I'll be able to Wish next turn and then Baton Pass this Curse, or even set up a second Curse. I kind of forget what we end up doing. But he's going to go for that U-turn this turn. And look at that. We're taking those pretty well. We got the Leftovers recovery. And, I mean, again, he's Life Orb. That was good information right there at that point in time, because I wasn't sure if he'd be Scarfed or not. So we got to figure out that he was Life Orb. And we're going to get this Wish up. Now, this is where Kelly makes some pro plays and probably turns this game around. I think this game got turned around at this very moment. Kelly goes for Trick on our +1/+1 cursed Umbreon. I wish I had gone for Baton Pass this turn, but I had gone for a second Curse. If I had just gone for Baton Pass, we would have been fine. We wouldn't have lost all that momentum, but he brought Trick, which was a clutch play, and I'm going to be looking out for that for the rest of the season now, because I'm not going to fall for that Trick twice, but yeah, I didn't think you'd bring it. I don't know. I just didn't think that he would expect the Curse Umbreon. I know it's kind of like common. I ran it a lot last season, but he didn't play last season, so I didn't think he'd bring it. But I go into Magnolia, which is actually a really bad choice because he goes for Thunderbolt, and I think this is one of our bigger mistakes besides the Baton Pass of the game, because we take a ton of damage. And here I'm like, okay, you know what? We'll go for an Air Slash. We have Serene Grace. We can probably get this flinch here. And unfortunately, we do not get the flinch, and he finishes off Magnolia, as Magnolia goes down without getting a single kill this season. But at least Rotom is really low, so we can definitely take that thing out with a Mach Punch or any other move, really. That thing's like a breath away from death. Like, just breathe on that thing and it'll die. So I bring in Dirty Dan, and I believe I'm going to go for that Mach Punch just to finish this thing off. No, I actually didn't go for the Mach Punch. I decided to go for the Drain Punch, I think. Or, oh, okay, Knock Off, in case he brought in Victini or something. Victini or Jirachi, because that would do the most damage. I was really thinking he might preserve this or just go for a Volt Switch, I think was my thought. But I stayed in, and now we are really, really low with Conkeldurr, which is not something that we want to see. So now I'm going to come out into Monty. I'm going to try to get a Wish past to Conkeldurr. Unfortunately, I don't think that goes as well as I had planned, because I remember Rocks are up, and I think we might be going down to Rocks on Switch-In was what I was thinking here. So it's like, shoot, that's kind of a bad idea. I really need to get rid of these Rocks. but I can't because our Mew's already dead, I believe, right? I think Mew's already dead. I forget. It's been a while. We did this battle last week, and I've been trying to re-record it ever since and just running into issues. So I set up the Wish, and I go into Diva. Now, a huge another misplay on my part. I forgot that this thing had Flamethrower. I didn't put it in my calcs, which is why I forgot about it. But, of course, he's going to go for Flamethrower. It's a Hydreigon, and I have a Scizor. This is just a noob mistake on my part. I kind of outplayed myself this game. I mean, Kelly played really good, and that trick, like, was clutch. But I feel like I made a lot of stupid mistakes. I switched into a Flying type on a Thunderbolt, and I switched a 4x weakness to Fire on something that clearly had Flamethrower. I don't know what I was thinking this week, and I think that's where we kind of got to this point where we had started the match really strong, and now we're not really looking too hot. Completely my bad. I think it was just the week 1 mistakes. I haven't battled since last season, so we kind of played pretty badly. But I'm going to go for a Wish this turn and try and Wish past a Conkeldurr or something. Anything that I can possibly do. And this is where I make another noobish mistake. I go for 2 Wishes because I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's right. If Conkeldurr comes in, he's going to die to whatever Hydreigon goes for after Rocks if he lives Rocks. So I stayed in for 2 Wishes, I think, or something like that. I kind of forget. But he just goes for Flamethrower and takes out Umbreon. And now we're looking in trouble. But I do see this opportunity where we might be able to turn things around right here or right now with Conkeldurr, who does manage to live the Rocks on 10 HP. I'm thinking, before he switches out, I'm thinking to myself, if he switches out and I go for Drain Punch, this could be huge. But then I was like, he's not going to do that. I'm just going to go for Mach Punch. If I had gone for Drain Punch, there is potential we could have won, but it would have been like the stars had to align. At the very least, we could have cleaned the matchup a little bit and kept it to a 2-0 instead of a 3-0. But if we gotten really lucky, I'll talk about this after the match really quick because this is all happening so fast. That is the match. Kelly has defeated us. Props to Kelly. He gets that week 1 win with a 3-0 victory in his favor. Props, dude. Very good. Go check out his channel. But I want to finish talking about what I was just talking about with the Conkeldurr at the end. And I thought long and hard about this. And I know it doesn't do justice because it automatically goes to moves when you do the versus recorder. So you guys didn't get to see all the wait time. But in my live comm, I was sitting there like, okay, if he switches out, Drain Punch is the best play. Because if he switches out and goes into Jirachi, Drain Punch will bring that Jirachi down to Mach Punch range. Plus, we will get all that health back. But I was like, why would he do that? Why would he switch out his Hydreigon and risk the game like that? You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for the Mach Punch and clean up, like, try and just kill the Hydreigon to make this a 2-0 loss or whatever. That was my thought, and that's what I ended up going with, but I wish I had gone with the Drain Punch now, because looking back at it, if I had gone Drain Punch, he switched into this Jirachi, I got back that health. If I had gone for a knockoff and he had gone into Victini, we could have won the game. Victini was at 60 health, around there, a little bit less maybe, was at 60%. And a knockoff would have killed the Victini, and if it didn't, for some reason, we have Mach Punch. So that wouldn't have been a worry. Now, that's a big if, because he would have had to switch out of Jirachi on a knockoff into Victini, and that's like a huge if, so it would have been an if, but at the very least, we could have cleaned the game up a little bit to a 2-0. But, just saying, he might have done it because Jirachi, if Jirachi was at really low after the Drain Punch, and he wanted to preserve the 3-0 victory, he probably would have switched into Victini, who had the most health and could take Mach Punch or Drain Punch very easily, because, I mean, Victini takes those like a champ. But if I had gone for the knockoff, like I probably would have done, we would have killed the Victini, or at least put in Mach Punch range, and then everything else, the Hydreigon was in Mach Punch range because the Mach Punch O-coded it no matter what. The Jirachi would have been in Mach Punch range after that Drain Punch, and his Victini, if it had lived, would have been in Mach Punch range. So I wish I had gone for the Drain Punch, but unfortunately I didn't. Even if I didn't, who knows, Kelly probably wouldn't have switched into Victini, but if he had, that could have been game for us, and it would have been huge. So next week, I'm definitely going to try and come out thinking a little bit better. I feel like I didn't think about my moves as much and as best as I could, but it's that week 1. We're still getting the feel for the team and everything, and Kelly definitely outplayed us with that trick Rotom. That was really cool. Very well done, sir. So that's going to be it for this battle, guys. Hopefully it turned out all right. Hopefully everything sounds okay, because this is my final attempt at recording this baby. So without further ado, guys, please go ahead, shield bash the like button for PGL Season 4. Hope to see you guys on the next one. Till then, though, stay frosty. Peace out.